of the CARICOM chairman, because I know people were saying, what is the chairman going to say? What is he going to do? And so forth. I am the Prime Minister of St. Kitts, not the Prime Minister of CARICOM, and so I can say what we are thinking here in St. Kitts and Nevis. However, I would say that CARICOM is a fundamental organization. We benefit from it tremendously, whether we recognize it or not. And therefore, the CARICOM, I think, should be placed where it should be placed, a respected organization. That is not to say that it would not have any type of challenges. And exactly that is what CARICOM is for, to deal with the challenges that might affect the CARICOM or the Caribbean region. And so it's one of the forums where the concept of collective sovereignty is really espoused, in the sense that we are stronger together than by ourselves. And that is very, very important to know. And so this organization allows us to have a larger voice, a bigger voice on international issues. So I have assumed the leadership, and I'm taking over from Prime Minister Most Honorable Andrew Holness of Jamaica. And the 50th CARICOM Heads of Government meeting will be held right here in St. Kitts and Nevis from February 24th to 27th. This is very important, where countries will be represented to, of course, discuss pertinent matters affecting the region and how CARICOM will continue to function. Very, very important. And so, in my own efforts as the new chair of CARICOM, I've decided to move forward. And one of the things that I've been doing, I have started, is to visit other CARICOM leaders. As far as possible, I would like to see how many countries I can reach within the region. And my message is simple. Let us continue to work to strengthen CARICOM, to strengthen the integration movement. And I recently traveled to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where I met with Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Goodwin Friday, who was recently elected. I met with him and his team. Attending the meeting was the Secretary General of CARICOM, Dr. Carla Barnett, of course myself, with my contingent. And we discussed in broad text, I would say in broad sense rather, CARICOM, how it functions, our renewed commitment, and things to be discussed at the upcoming meeting when we meet in Bastille in February 2026. And so I want to thank Prime Minister Friday and the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, his team, for receiving us and for, of course, having meaningful discussion with us as we go forward. So I would say our meeting in St. Vincent was very successful. On leaving St. Vincent, I then moved to another CARICOM country, Antigua and Barbuda, where I had a meeting with the Prime Minister, the Honorable Gaston Brown, and his foreign minister, who is Honorable Chet Green. And we had a working lunch, and so we discussed many matters with respect to CARICOM, of course, and any issues in terms of communication between countries and heads and so forth. Those things were discussed. And I want to report that the Honorable Gaston Brown, of course, is one who supports the CARICOM and the integration movement. He supports it very fully, and of course always looking for ways in which we can definitely improve the functioning of CARICOM. And so I want to thank Prime Minister Gaston Brown and his foreign minister for meeting with us in Antigua and having meaningful discussions. And so I would say that meeting too was very successful. And then after that meeting, I came back home last evening. So I left in the morning and returned last evening. And so it is the plan to continue to visit countries throughout the region so that we can make sure that we stay on the path of strengthening CARICOM, especially during a time where we see geopolitically there are many challenges and many questions to ask, and this is the time when CARICOM really need to fortify and to be as strong as possible, so collectively we protect each other and we put each other on the best standing possibly So I want to thank both prime ministers in both countries for receiving me with my contingent yesterday. And so you'll see this continue to go forward.
Okay.
Jimmy, let me touch on another matter. And I want to make it clear, as I said before, assuming chairmanship of CARICOM does not replace my national responsibility. I have been elected by the same people of St. Kitts and Nevis to represent them, to lead this country, and even under trying and difficult circumstances, to make the best decision to ensure that we continue to grow as a country and to create the best life for our people. So I want to put that clearly on the table, that my first responsibility is to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. However, we have regional obligations, international obligations, and they, most times, one does not really replace the other. They can work in concert. But I just wanted to make that clear. And so these bilateral visits with the heads, of course, is to make sure we continue to push the integration movement. And so I want to touch on the particular matter with respect to the MOU and third country nationals. I think I touched it already on my round table, but I know some questions have come up and people have been discussed. As you know, the United States would have requested or would have dialogued with other countries. We have dialogued with the United States. And I think everybody understands that geopolitically things might have shifted somewhat and present some challenges. How do we navigate a time like this? That is the question to be asked. And on the third country nationals, we sat and we negotiated with the United States of America. Of course, the MOU, the essence of the MOU was put out with respect. And I want to clarify, it only allows CARICOM members at this time. Now, the question was asked, and this was a MOU, so it's negotiated and it's there, so anybody would see it, and therefore, whatever I say to it must speak directly to what the MOU says. And today, I really want to take this opportunity and use so I can look directly at our people. I know that there are those who are making some hay of it in terms of what it says. It says what we negotiated, CARICOM nationals. I see somebody on your radio station trying to talk about Middle Eastern this and Middle Eastern that. The MOU does not say this, and we did not negotiate that. And so I want to completely debunk that, which was said on your radio station yesterday or suggested on the station yesterday. Now, the other aspect that people are looking at in the MOU is the aspect of the Haiti matter. Let me say clearly that per capita, St. Kitts and Nevis has accepted one of the highest numbers of Haitians, our brothers and sisters in Haiti. And the reason why we do that is that our administration is empathetic, it's understanding, and of course, it would help. And so we have a very progressive approach to Haiti. And we wish Haiti well. At the end of the day, what you really want is a stabilized Haiti so that the citizens and residents of Haiti can have a safe country to live in. We continue to work through the CARICOM framework, and we would not abdicate our responsibility, and we, of course, continue to push that message. Over the time, we have accepted Haitians here, and per capita, we have accepted a whole community, basically. But of course, one would understand, and I have to put it out there, that we are the smallest in CARICOM as an independent country, and therefore there are limitations as to how much we can do. So in negotiating the MOU, of course, that would have come out. And so we have been very progressive and very open. The Haitian community that's here, the children, they go to school for free. That is on the government expense. Healthcare, free. I remember one time there was a capsized boat that was coming from Dominica on its way, and our Coast Guard saved them. They were saved. They were brought here, and they were given all the support, and they were treated very humanely. And I was asked, would you deport? And I said, how can I deport children, and how can I deport women, and I think they had pregnant women among the group. And I said, I cannot do that. What would they go back to? And we kept them here. And I think I had a discussion on this station or somewhere else where I said,
No,
the decision.
I remember.
You remember?
You being here and speaking to them.
And we kept them. And we settled them, you know. And so that was our decision with respect to do that. However, in terms of how much we can relocate or resettle, because the main objective is not really to resettle anyone, because you want Haiti to become stabilized so that the people can flourish in their country. But understanding the circumstances, we resettle because they don't have any, I would say, other immigration status except what we give them. Because you would have to come into St. Kitts for a short stay and then leave. Anything over that, you are breaking the law and should be deported. And we have not taken that stance. We have taken the stance that we have now reached a capacity where we cannot, really accommodate anymore at this particular time because of the high numbers relatively that we have accepted. So I feel very good about what we have done. We know we are limited. We know we are small. We know our resource capacity. But even with that, we decided to resettle a community of Haitians here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so I want that record to stand for itself. And I'm pretty sure that some people who are speaking may not even know this, because a lot of people are running with what is a politically expedient issue to run with. However, we continue to support the efforts to stabilize Haiti. We'll continue to have our arms open to our fellow brothers and sisters and people of Haiti. We'll continue to do what we can, of course, understanding that we have limited resources. And those who are talking, I would, invite them to really don't talk, but help, do as much as St. Kitts and Nevis has. So that is what I would ask them to do, simply. There are other issues, of course, surrounding the matter that I think will be discussed at a later date. But as far as our capacity, that is where we are. There are other issues of national security, which I mentioned, and we'll get deeper into some of those things. But I want to say today that the decisions that I've made are tough decisions, but they're decisions to protect St. Kitts and Nevis while respecting and extending deep love for our people, brothers and sisters in Haiti.
But Prime Minister, I want to stick a pin there, because I too questioned the decision about Haiti.
Right.
Because I recognize that you have spoken about the situation in Haiti many times.
Yes.
Right? And I questioned why not Haiti, because Haiti is a part of CARICOM. So while I do understand the capacity issue, for me, 10 Haitians and 10 Trinidadians are 10 people, right? So can you speak a little bit to that and
Right, so
why that decision was taken?
no, you touch on a point there. Remember, at first everybody was saying nobody at all should come.
But
So we start. So,
I agree.
yeah, okay,
I agree. But for
So you're
me,
saying that- so you
if
see-
anybody should come,
Yes, but
it should. And I made this point yesterday, because if anybody should come, if we're opening our arms, because I know a lot of people feel nobody at all should come. But I think that if we're opening our arms to people, it should be
So let me-
Haitians based on what is happening.
But what I just said, of all the communities in the Caribbean, which community do you think we have actively settled the most in the largest numbers?
Yes, but there seems to be a shift now.
No, there's no shift. It's just that we have the capacity, and
Okay.
that capacity we have reached with
Okay.
respect. Because of what we can afford,
Okay.
Haiti has received the most.
Okay.
That is what. So I hope that clarifies it for you. This is what St. Kitts and Nevis can afford. In our discussion, already Haiti has received the most of that.
Okay.
And therefore, if you allow it for CARICOM,
So you've reached that quota.
we have reached that quota.
Okay.
And not only have we reached the quota, it will be the largest quota of all who we accept.
Okay.
And so I recognize, I think Haiti would represent easily 50% or more of our capacity to absorb others into St. Kitts and
Okay.
Nevis under any program.
Okay.
So your point is correct. It should be Haiti,
Yes.
and we have done that.
Okay.
I remember, I will go on to say, in 2019, under the former administration, and I bring it up because the former administration is out there saying all sorts of things. They deported Haitians. And they included in the deportation were 2 pregnant women and a child. We have taken the position that we will never do that. We picked up pregnant women, and the order was get the pregnant women to the hospital immediately and get the obstetrician gynecologist to examine them immediately, and the child as well, to make sure everybody will get checked, but these ones have to be done immediately. And we did that. And the decision was taken not to make any move to deport them.
Okay.
So we have done exceedingly. So we have taken them, school, healthcare, all of that they have gotten. Other social services we have extended as well. So this is our capacity, and Haiti will occupy the vast majority, and they have already. Right? So I just wanted to put that out there. So I'm happy you asked that question, and we were able to clarify it in terms of that. Now, there are some other matters surrounding it that have to do with national security. And I would say, as far as I can speak, there are those who recognize, I think it's a Nevis under this administration, that we were very progressive with respect to how we deal with our people from Haiti. And they were seeking to take advantage of it. A report will be revealed, I would say, within a month or 2 of what that... of what the assessment says. But I will say to people that we are kind and generous, but please do not try to take advantage of us. Let those who are vulnerable and would genuinely benefit from our generosity, let them benefit. But we know that there are those who are nefarious, who sought to distort what we were doing for their own economic benefits. And in other words, we discovered that there were some persons who were committing crimes because of what our position was in helping to resettle Haitians here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so I have to protect the national security of St. Kitts and Nevis. So this is not just, it's multi-pronged. Of course, the capacity, Haiti has most, and they should get most, as you recommended. But also from the national security aspect, I have to also protect St. Kitts and Nevis. And that is a serious matter as well. And that, a lot of work is going on there. And today, I cannot speak to all of the national security matters. But from the resettling, we have done a tremendous job in extending our resources, as limited as they are, in terms of helping our people from Haiti. I'll move on. As you know, just to mention quickly, Safe Harbor. Safe Harbor is now really functioning, and a lot of super yachts are already coming. I visited there. The jobs it's already providing. I think it says more prominent on the map. If you see the people who come there and the yachts that come there.
I've seen them.
Yeah, you've seen them. It's tremendous. And this is just the first season, And they didn't even have a chance to fully prepare for the season. They just had a few months. So by next year, they will be fully engaged. We will also do what you call a startup weekend. That is a job fair, but not just a job fair. It is a weekend where the experts will come in and educate our people on what the opportunities involved in the yachting sector, so that our people can form small businesses and get involved. You'll be surprised. Everything is involved, down to from mechanic all the way up to the administrative managerial level. And a whole heap of other things in between there, Jim. You can't imagine what one yacht requires to be in our harbor to maintain it. Because remember, the cruise ships, when they come for in the morning and they leave in the afternoon. And so they don't need our people necessarily for maintenance and this and that and all sorts of other things that are needed. However, when the yachts come, they probably will shop for a week, some of them 2 weeks, and they need the services that the cruise ships normally need, but those services are done by their own people at sea, fundamentally. And so it will create significant amount of opportunities for our people, and as much as we can absorb, we should absorb. We intend to expand that industry significantly, and it will Already we are seeing the super yachts. They have already put in new slips, and super yachts can come in. Something you stand next to them, you think it's a cruise ship, how large they are. And these persons who come in them, they want services. And the more services you offer is the longer they stay. So we are going to need our taxi drivers, our tour, just what they do for the cruise industry. We need them to do this for the yachting, except that your customers can be here for a week.
Caterers, florists.
You need caterers, florists, all these things. Provisioning is, and the services. People come here for a week, they need to go to a restaurant because they don't want to just be on the yacht eating. They might need to go and get a massage. They might need a haircut. It's just a community that would need the services of our people. And so that startup weekend is to make sure that it is organized and that our people. The other thing we'll do with them is to put courses at the college or at CWIT where they can be certified so that you can actually be trained directly to help to participate in the yachting sector. And so I'm very excited about that. There's a lot of jobs that can be created. Every minute they have to bring in somebody, and that is not what we want, and that is not what they want. They want all these services to be available here in St. Kitts and Nevis. As I say, even flowers. Simple as that. They need these type of things. You go on the beach, whole beaches and all sorts of surfaces that would be needed to maintain a beach and so forth. And so the more we have to offer is the longer they will stay and the more they will come. And so we will seek to get our people go into that. The other matter we'll talk to is about the SSZ, the Sustainability Zone. I want to say that 2 meetings already have been had with the ad hoc committee.
Okay.
The ad hoc committee, of course, is an extensive committee that I think is about 15, but if I mention some of them, we have the St. Kitts Christian Council, the Evangelical Association, the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Trades and Labor Union, Bankers and Financial Services, Caribbean Confederation of Credit Union, Eastern Caribbean. Well, these are going to report. They're going to be a part of the committee in terms of giving us their feedback. We have Organization of Rastafari Unity, where it was extended, the St. Kitts Nevis Medical and Dental Association. We also have the Bar Association. That is a fundamental part of it. We have the St. Christopher Trust that is actually a part of this as well. And so we have all these organizations that are coming together to advise. So they've already looked at the SSZ law, and what I've said to them, never before has this happened in St. Kitts. We see major developments, but nothing has ever come to a committee and then go to Parliament. We are shifting that. Why am I shifting that? Because there had been the major developments in St. Kitts and Nevis where that had not happened. Whether they were good or bad is not the discussion. It is that our people should have a direct say. And so you can look at the past and learn and seek to strengthen it. And so what the SSZ has nothing to do with Destiny. Destiny is a project that is being proposed that has not reached the committee as yet. That is being proposed. SSZ is a law that says any major project to be proposed in St. Kitts and Nevis must come through a process and must go to Parliament. I mean, you can't get more transparent than that. For example, the prison project. The prison project, which resulted in thousands of citizenships, maybe up 20-something thousand. How is it the people of St. Kitts did not have a discussion on that? That's a significant number, right? That should not have happened. The people should have had a say. Because this is not a normal run-of-the-mill type of project, like a hotel project that we are accustomed to. This is where citizenship is being used significantly, not in the normal regular amount, but in a significant number. And when they were asked, the former administration, why is it you're not saying to the people? What was said is that this is an industry secret. How can the people's citizenship be an industry secret? Cannot be. We see major development, such as the Four Seasons, and it's an excellent development, which I support, of course, but I'm simply saying that that did not come to the people in which the SSZ law would have brought it. Had the SSZ law been there would have been a broader discussion. If people have an opportunity to engage, and many NGOs have an opportunity to weigh in, as we are doing here. When you look, for example, at Christopher Harbour as well, that, if the SSZ had been there, it would have gone through a different process. Not saying that any of these is bad. I'm just simply saying that when it comes to these major, massive projects, that there should be an opportunity for our people to have full view of what is happening. And this is exactly what the SSZ is doing. So I want to thank those who came to the SSZ, to the meeting, to discuss the act itself. They are proposing, along with us, ways in which we can strengthen it. And I will go back to Parliament as much as I have to strengthen the law. But every country that is seeking to do major development, and if you want to develop, you have to understand, you have to get involved in major development. Otherwise, you're not going anywhere. However, we have decided in St. Kitts and Nevis that it must be very open, very transparent, and to the point where it must go to Parliament. Till people are saying that because we are more transparent than other countries, that other countries might see more attractive than us. But what I'm saying to investors, if it's transparent and the people support it, that is the best scenario, that you are fully supported, and that after you make your investments, that people start to denounce your investment and undermine your investment. But when the people participate with you as an investor, come up with the best framework that is palatable to both, that project will have the full support of the people, the government, and of course it would give us the best opportunity to be successful. And I think that is, any investor who is serious, they would recognize that this is the way. So I'm very serious. So 2 meetings were had, and then the recommendations would come. And I said from the beginning, the objective of this law is to make sure that no major development undermines our sovereignty, that no major development violates our constitution, that no major development violates our laws. And so the SSZ must be strengthened, that any major development to come to St. Kitts and Nevis cannot sidestep, must come through this, and therefore the people would have full view, and our country will be protected. So I want to thank the members of the committee. I want to thank those who came forward, and I want to thank those who would have participated strongly with us to ensure that we can attract investments, but we can attract safe investments, or investments that benefit the investor, and investments that benefit the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and would never be a threat to our people and to our way of life. And that is simply, so I want to say we'll go back to Parliament soon, and we will make the necessary adjustments where, and even after that, the committee will continue to look at it, because there might be more opportunities to strengthen it further. And to add, even outside of that, now when a specific project comes, that project has to be scrutinized by a separate committee, who would then give recommendations and look to make sure that whatever the project is, it does not violate any of the things that is in the SSZ law. Mm-hmm. And then that project cannot be passed by me or by a committee. It has to go to Parliament.
So it would go to the committee before it goes to you?
Yes, I would bring it. Once anything is sent to me, it has to go to the committee.
Okay.
I'm not going to make the air. So the committee will look at it and help to advise me. Mm-hmm. And after the committee would have looked at it and give me their recommendation and advice and so forth, I take that now and then I take it to Parliament, and Parliament to debate it. Mm-hmm. Now, what we are recognizing is that before, you have to table it once. Once it's tabled, it is then under the view of the whole public. The public can see it. And we want the public to weigh in at that particular point before the final debate is made. So even though it comes from a committee, the people... So
there may be consultations at that point.
Yeah, so the committee might say, look, let us have a consultation here. Prime Minister, this is our advice. Let us speak here, and the committee can help to organize those, to hear from our people. And then we get the best framework, because I want to bring for the debate, I want to have the best thing going forward. And I said, this is from the people, from the committee, from different perspective, and this is what I'm putting forward. Would any entity be 100% sanctified? Maybe not, because when you deal with consensus, however, there are some basic principles, I think, that we can all agree on, and those principles would be the basis, or those principles will be the basis on which I will lead the debate on bringing any major development forward. But this is important because I've been speaking that we have to diversify our economy. And I'm happy that people are recognizing our world, other world leaders are saying the same thing. We have to look for, when I went to Africa, people were like, what are you going to Africa for? Now we see why I went to Africa. We brought back nurses and healthcare professionals because now we see what is happening with respect to one of our arrangements and what is being said. So this is why I travel. I travel to make sure that we can diversify as far as possible our portfolio on any particular matter so that it makes us less vulnerable. And so we'll continue to build out the diversification of the economy. Will there be challenges? Yes. Because I said to the people from day one, CBI is going to be a challenge because it's under scrutiny. And if we do, if you do business as usual, you're going to lose a lot, much more than maybe the initial revenue. And so we are seeking to see how can we transition, expanding tourism, the yachting sector, major farming, high scale, I would say, medical care, right? So that you can attract people in to come for medical care. IT transformation, which we are doing. Small business expansion, which we are doing as well. More training for our people in different areas to occupy different professions and so forth. So it is a whole plan to see how we can diversify, to be less vulnerable, and to give our people more opportunities. So I want to say to our people, take advantage of the opportunities. Take advantage of the opportunities, because if you are to do so, one, you will stabilize yourself better. Two, you would ensure that the government, of course, continues to function in a particular way, so people can have opportunities, jobs, and so forth, pay to their social security, pay their taxes. When you are in a country, there has to be solidarity. There have to be some basic things that everybody agree on. Otherwise, the country cannot function. And those things are always things that you may not be 100% agreeable to. But when you look at the whole picture, it is the best scenario that we can have. And so solidarity is important. That is what social security is based on, solidarity. Because you're paying into social security so that when you get retirement age, you get a benefit. So you can sustain yourself during your retirement age. But you are in solidarity with the younger population who would then work and contribute so that you can be paid at that point. I brought up the issue with Social Security because, as you know, there are many things that can affect it, right? And that will come forward. But I'm just simply saying, in all of this, solidarity is critically important. So, Jamie, I wanted to really discuss these particular matters as an opening, the issues that are hot. And as I said before, I'm very accessible as a Prime Minister. I am on the round table, I am talk shows, radio shows, I'm open always to discussion and to have our people engage. And I've always said to our people that the decisions sometimes might be challenging ones, but it's always because the people of St. Kitts and Nevis are my first responsibility. And then from there, I extend beyond, of course, in the spirit of collective responsibility or collective sovereignty, my regional responsibility and my international commitment. Thank you, Jamie, for allowing me those opening statements, and I look forward to, of course, your interaction.
So, Prime Minister, you spoke about the need to fortify CARICOM. Now, there are those who are of the view that in recent times there has been somewhat of a move to weaken CARICOM, a move to somewhat divide and conquer. What are your thoughts as it relates to that, and how strong is CARICOM at present?
Right. So CARICOM has gone through, it's the 50th year, and we have gone through, the 50th meeting, and we have gone through many things. but we have survived 50 years. Just think about other
It
challenges.
seems to be a very challenging time at this.
Yes, it is very
present.
challenging, yes, because we know. But CARICOM has had challenges in the 80s, for example, the issue in Grenada at one point, we know was a challenging one. The issue in Haiti before, when a president was moved, and now what is happening in Haiti that is straining our resources as well. And so CARICOM has gone through all these iterations and challenges, but CARICOM has survived. Let me tell you what CARICOM does so that people understand that even though CARICOM is going through a challenging period, it is still very much functional and strong, and it can be strengthened, of course. Has it taken a hit recently? Yes. Of course, when you see leaders having discussion in public instead of behind closed doors as it should be, that is a challenge in itself. And that is why you see me visiting country to country, hopefully, to get our leaders to commit to the integration movement. And I can tell you, they are committed to it. And they want to work.
Are committed to it?
Well, they're committed in at least in principle.
Okay.
They want to see it work.
Okay.
And I will tell you why. For example, let's look at trade within the CARICOM. Do you know who benefits most? Trinidad
Probably
and Tobago.
Trinidad, yes.
And so if CARICOM were to remove all of that, who you think would suffer the most?
Probably
From a trade perspective, Trinidad and Tobago. I can say that. And nothing is wrong with that. We are committed to trading with Trinidad and Tobago because it's a fellow CARICOM member. And I think a lot of people in Trinidad who have come to recognize that, realize the importance of CARICOM. And I will continue to support Trinidad and Tobago, of course, because it's a regional partner and a country just like Haiti.
Definitely.
We respect it and we want it to do well. Of course, we know our limitations.
We have
as
lots of concerns as
yes,
well.
But the concern is real.
Yes.
And I'm not going to push the concern under the rug. It is a real concern. I accept it. And that is why you see I have taken the decision to get on the plane RSS, not a private jet as some might be recommending.
I was wondering because you visited 2 countries in one day.
RSS, which is a CARICOM entity that takes me from country to country, right? And so I visited 2 countries in one day because I recognize exactly what you are saying, that CARICOM is going through a very challenging time. And I, as a chairman, I want to reach out to the leaders, sit with them, eyeball to eyeball, and say, look, let us recommit to this great movement, the CARICOM movement, even with the challenges. Let me tell you why it's important. RSS, that's a CARICOM entity.
Definitely.
If anything were to happen in any of the CARICOM countries, hardly any of them have the capacity to restore the security.
Some don't even have military forces.
Exactly. Yeah. Some don't even have a military. So sometimes when something happened, they called, Prime Minister, we need 25 people. RSS is going to pick them up so and so and so and so. That's how it's done. And you have a commitment. If something happens here, people will say if things get real bad, call in the RSS. That's CARICOM. So we cannot separate CARICOM from what it delivers. Is it going through a difficult one? Yes. Do we need to sit down and discuss it? Yes. Do we need to work through it? Yes. But should we fight for it? Of course we should fight for it. That's the clarion call. And so I share your commitment. CXC. That's a CARICOM entity. St. Kitts and Nevis by itself can't come up with an examination council. Do we want to go back to England? We have passed that. We have shown the world that we can do it. This is not about going backward. This is about going forward. We have become independent of the UK with respect to our examination council. Why should we go back to Cambridge and London and so forth when we have CISEC, which is internationally respected, out of CARICOM? SEDIMA. SEDIMA deal with disasters, Caribbean disaster. And when there is a hurricane, who do you think is in those planning meetings? Anytime St. Kitts is threatened with any disaster, most of them natural disasters, we have what you call pre-strike meetings. Who do you think in those meetings? SEDIMA. We had the SEDIMA meeting here last year, coordinating with us, planning with us, in touch with our coordinators at NEMA, making sure, our director at NEMA, making sure that St. Kitts and Nevis is prepared. St. Kitts and Nevis by itself cannot prepare for a hurricane. That is where the CARICOM entity SEDIMA comes in. But our people may not know. That's a benefit from CARICOM, right? That's a benefit from CARICOM. We have, of course, affiliations that are tied with CARICOM. For example, University of the West Indies. No country, hardly any country in the Caribbean can establish a university that will be internationally recognized. Not one country in the Caribbean has done it. They have had universities. I'm talking about indigenous universities, but not one has an internationally recognized. In Jamaica, the internationally recognized university is UWI. In Barbados, UWI. In Trinidad and Tobago, UWI. Here we have 5 islands in Antigua, and we have the open campus in the different countries. Can we do that by ourselves? No. And I want our people to know that these are some of the things that we can do in integration movement. Even at a smaller scale, like let's say the OECS, you have the central bank. Can we set up our own central bank? No. If the central bank disappears, we disappear economically. But that is part of the larger integration movement. So I'm saying that we have found that really working together in this framework of OECS, CARICOM, and so forth, that these things are benefiting us on a daily basis. The very dollar you put in your pocket, it is because of the ECCB, which is part and parcel, as I said, of the broader integration movement in the region. So if you look at all of just some of these things, and there are many more CARICOM entities that I have not even mentioned, you would recognize how, but I dealt with those that people normally call on. People go to UWI. Let's go UWI. Let's go do the CXC exam. Call in the RSS if there's a problem. The hurricane coming, what are we going to do? Right? So I call out those to show that had it not been for CARICOM, we could not exist as a country at the level that we are existing. That is why we speak about collective sovereignty, that we work together for the betterment of each. We work together for the betterment of each, because you have to put yourself first. You cannot compromise yourself to the point where you are negatively affected by the integration movement. And that is why, of course, we took the decision. We know how much we can do. We do all we can do, and then we said, we really can't do anymore. We have done as much as we can as a small country. And therefore, you are right, and it's not going to be pushed under the rug. The leaders are invited to come to St. Kitts in February. We're going to have a caucus. We're just leaders in there, and we're going to trash out things in there. But I want, when we come out that room, we come out at least united on our basic principles. So I support all of our leaders. I support Prime Minister Kamala. She's part of CARICOM and Trinidad and Tobago. I support Prime Minister Brown and Antigua and Barbuda. I support Haiti as a member of CARICOM, and all of the countries that are members of CARICOM, that we continue to work so that each can do better than if they were to do it by themselves.
Okay. So, Prime Minister, I want to touch on the MOU a little bit, because there are those who are very concerned. There are those who feel that the MOU in itself is a mistake. What would you say to quiet those fears?
Right. So it's not a binding MOU. It is an MOU, if you read it. It's non-binding, and you will...
But there are still those who are not very trusting of...
Well, I understand, but for every...
Because I'm being very careful, because I recognize that you're Prime Minister of the country, and I don't want to put you in...
Yes, and I want you...
Right?
So we have to be careful.
Yes.
Let me just say it this way. Probably we can move on, because I think you understand.
Very much so.
Every decision I make, sometimes they're challenging. But I have to look at the overall picture and see what will be the best scenario, or the better scenario rather, for St. Kitts and Nevis at this particular time, because of what could be certain consequences if you don't negotiate or go to the table.
Okay.
We went to the table and were able to negotiate, our CARICOM brothers and sisters. As I told you, Haiti is disproportionately represented in St. Kitts and Nevis, because we gave a large part of our resources to that effort of resettling Haitians here, and so we have to now leave a space for any other CARICOM members. Let me say already, our CARICOM brothers and sisters, they come into our country and we travel to their country. Some of that movement, even though we don't have the actual free movement, some of that movement happens.
Where are we as it relates to the free movement?
Again, the reason why we cannot move forward with the free movement, based on our population size, we have to make sure that there are measures in place so that when it, you have to make sure you protect your country. That is the next issue again. Why haven't we moved forward? Because we still think that there should be some things met, some conditions that are, suitable for us then to move to that next level. And before those conditions are met, I, as Prime Minister, as a country, we will not open up St. Kitts and Nevis accordingly. And we are within CARICOM still, and that is understood. Let us continue to work to make sure the smaller states like St. Kitts and Nevis, that when we open up, it will not be a disadvantage for them. How can we protect even the smaller states within CARICOM? And the leaders understand that. And so I would say that we continue to work, making tough decisions in a very tough geopolitical time to give us the best scenario that we could have had. But I want our people to know that I'll continue to work, continue to negotiate, continue to put us in the best stead possible under the circumstances.
Okay. Prime Minister, we have to take a short commercial break, but when we come back, we'll invite callers to call in and interact with you. So we'll take that break now.
The Giant Malt Relay Championships and Chant-Off is here. January 25th, starting at 1:30 p.m.
Watch the fastest legs and loudest voices from high schools across St. Kitts and Nevis battle for glory.
Grounds just $10. Medal stands $25. Kim Collins stand $50.
Get your tickets now at Harper's, Island Flavors, Cara Brewery Drinks Depots, and participating schools.
Giant Malt Relay Championships and Chant-Off. Fuel the competition.
Reliable, dependable, Delta. If you live here in St. Kitts and your tank on E, there's only one place that you should be. Maybe driving in Nevis and you need some fuel. Go straight to Delta. Don't be a fool. Get your cooking gas fast. All petroleum needs ULSD. Everyone in the region is shouting, go Delta. Premium gasoline in a fully stocked C-store. So there's only one place you should be. Delta Petroleum, baby.
Every day we're faced with choices: to spend or to save, to delay or to stay on track. It's discipline that shapes our future, because discipline means making the choice today that pays off tomorrow. Remember, discipline, choice, pays. A message from the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis.
What if your money did more than sit in an account? What if it built dreams, supported families, and empowered futures? At St. Kitts Credit Union, we're more than a financial institution. We're a family that believes in your potential, rooted in people helping people. Enjoy competitive savings rates and low interest loans for mortgages, vehicles, education, and more. Need security for you or your loved ones? The Family Indemnity Plan and Loan Protection Insurance give your loved ones peace of mind, whether you're saving for school, building your business, or planning for tomorrow. SKCU is here for you. It's not just about banking, it's about belonging. Contact us at 465-2272 or any of our branches. Learn more online at www.skccu.com. Become a member today and be a part of something greater.
Have you heard that Mind, Body, and Soul is back?
Yes, Mind, Body, and Soul is back on Sundays at 4 p.m. only on Freedom FM, hosted by the inspiring Julie Charles. This is your go-to show for thought-provoking and uplifting conversations. Every Sunday, dive into topics that nourish your mind, body, and soul. From wellness tips to personal growth to deep conversations, Julie brings you the stories that inspire change and spark reflection. Don't miss out. Tune into Minds, Body, and Soul on Sundays at 4 p.m. and let Freedom FM guide you to a more balanced and inspired life. Minds, Body, and Soul on Freedom FM Sundays at 4 p.m. are back. Our guest for this afternoon is Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Terence Drew. The lines are open, so the numbers to call in are 662-1065, 465-6474, or 465-0546. We are asking you to keep your calls brief this afternoon because we know that the entire country wants to speak with Prime Minister Drew, so leave a little time for the others, and of course we are going to keep it respectful. So let's take this call. Good afternoon, you're alive. We missed that one. We missed that call. Let's take this one. Good afternoon, you're live.
Good afternoon, Jimmy.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, this is some questions for the Prime Minister. For clarification, when the statement on the Haitians was first made, it sounded like we were stigmatizing an already stigmatized country. So are you now saying that we are taking the deportees based on quotas, a quota system, and not really national security concerns, as was given as the reasons in the first instance? That's the first question. With regard to SSG, are you saying that all projects being considered, Destiny included, are going to be delayed until the committee submits suggestions and you go back to Parliament to tighten the legislation, right? Because, for instance, I would imagine that limits should be set on things like the numbers, the acreage involved, the numbers of people, the acreage involved, the philosophy of the developers, and those kinds of things. And will you apply the same principles of consultation, parliamentary approval, and so on, to other, shall we say, controversial projects like, for instance, any more Fort Thomases in the future? And the last question, bearing in mind the geopolitical situation, we see how chaotic it is right now, and everybody is scrambling to respond, including the European Union and so on. Don't you think that an emergency meeting would have been better? I think the situation demanded an urgent meeting because, and it be collective, right, in order to respond to, what we now see are really fundamental changes in the world.
All right.
Those are the questions.
Thank you very much, caller.
Thank you so much, caller, for that contribution.
I want to thank the caller, and I think these are, I like the caller's questions. They were well put. They were well thought out, and the way he presented them opens up a very good line for dialogue. So I want to thank the caller. He spoke about an emergency meeting. The CARICOM had an emergency meeting. Remember, I could not even attend my own gala. I was on calling the first meeting. Just got in as chair. Not even a chance to wet my feet properly. And I was calling the first meeting 5 a.m. on the morning that occurred. And it took me the whole day. And CARICOM did meet caller. And what you saw from CARICOM was where consensus could have been reached at that time in putting out a statement. As I said before, caller, I am not the president or prime minister of CARICOM. Nobody is the president or prime minister of CARICOM. The chairman is the coordinator. You call the meetings, you bring people together, and you seek to get where is the community, and that is what is communicated. So that was done, caller. So we have done that emergency work, and now I'm moving around the region, meeting with as many leaders as I can to discuss, the commitment to CARICOM and moving forward and in preparation for the meeting in St. Kitts, in Bastille, St. Kitts, in February. So, yes, caller. So your point on an emergency meeting is critical, and I just wanted to put out that we did meet, and we had emergency meeting after emergency meeting, even beyond the 3rd of January, to the point where I could not even attend my own gala. With respect to the SSZ, again, I want to say, caller, that the law will be looked at before anything else is put forward. The law has to be amended based on what the committee says, and a further amendment is needed. It would be a working document, caller. It would not be just presented, and that's the end of it. It will be a working document so that we can make it, of course, as favorable as possible. At the same time, we are balancing all of these protections along with maintaining an environment favorable to investments. Because without investments, countries die economically. And so I want our people to know that there's a balancing. Protect our sovereignty, protect our laws and all of that. Those are fundamental. Those are non-negotiable. Within that, now, how do we create the most favorable environment, understanding that we are competing with other countries. So I want to say that caller, so that would happen, and then any project to come, such as what people are discussing, that has to go through its own process, and it still has to be passed as a separate law inside Parliament. So each one will be separate. So the SSZ is a framework, but each project is taken on its own, and it's not just passed under the SSZ. It has to go to Parliament for its own law to be established. So there are multiple levels, I would say, caller, in making sure that we are properly protected. This has never happened before in St. Kitts and Nevis, and that is why I am so proud of it. With respect to the Haiti matter, he said that, and what I did was to read the MOU. So it came across as just very clinical, because I wanted to make sure that I read it for the record. It has to be read into record, because this is an MOU with another country, and you cannot be accused of not saying what the MOU is not saying. However, I can now give, what I'm now giving is commentary to the MOU. I am saying, with respect to the Haiti matter, I already spoke that we gave most of our resources that we can give to others freely most of it is already given to Haiti. Well over 50% to Haiti alone in this world that we support fully. When we had the capsizing of the boat and we saved the Haitians, we sent, our people to meet with the Haitian community. They took in the pregnant women and the children, and we said we would support. Just tell us what they want: free medical care, free education, free this, whatever it is. And we support them. And we said we will not deport these children and pregnant women. Let them have a chance to live. And I'm proud of that record. And we use all of our resources to support. And even the Haitian community also did gave some support as well. So together, we supported them. I mean, you're coming off of sea, almost die, you have children. Our Coast Guard had to rescue them and bring them here. And then we found a trafficker among them who was prosecuted. So here are people using the Haitian situation to become rich. And they were trafficking them. That is where the national security matter comes in. How can people use our country to traffic people? Here you have innocent people who are seeking to have a better life because of what is happening in their country. But instead of us coming together to see how we can help with the resources we have, you are further exploiting by seeking to use St. Kitts and Nevis as a transshipment point. Exploiting people's vulnerabilities. So we have given a significant amount. So it is on the basis of what we have given and on the basis of, again, of our national security. Let me say, when you bring somebody from another country, you need a background check if you have to do one. Because of the situation in Haiti, sometimes you can't even get that background check done. So what we do, sometimes we take a risk. We say, what can a child do? What can a pregnant woman do? You never know. But at least we are saying, on humanitarian grounds, let us give as much as we can give, managing the risk. But we have discovered people, and we have jailed a person from Dominica who was doing human trafficking for a lot of money, because how much does one trip cost? And therefore we have to protect our borders as well. But we have been very open, and we have given a significant amount, and we need to put other measures in place to make sure that we continue to protect St. Kitts and Nevis while being very compassionate and kind to our fellow brothers and sisters from Haiti. So caller, you might be correct that it came across seemingly a little blunt, because it was a technical statement I was making to make sure that if I were to read the MOU that was agreed to, that it comes across that the Prime Minister read what the MOU is. Of course, the MOU is not going to go into this and that. It's going to just be the technical verbiage. And that is what I use. So, caller, I just want to say that I'm giving some commentary to it, and I hope that helps to clarify some of the questions that you might have concerning that. Okay. Yes, thank you.
Let's go back to the phone lines. Good afternoon. We missed that one. Let's try this one. Good afternoon. You're live.
Hey, good afternoon, Jamie.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Prime Minister.
Good afternoon to you. Happy New Year.
Well, my New Year starts in April, spring. Now, create a God, and put man on earth when it's not the ground. All the animals going to hibernate. How is it human? Not the first to eat. If you understand what I'm speaking of.
Okay.
Well, it's due the 13 months Bible, so yeah. 13 months year, must say.
Yes.
Anyway, well, they were calling for anyway.
No problem.
I'm talking about agriculture.
Yes.
I want to know, why is it I'm going to presently know? You're referring to MOU with America, with some people, me know nothing about. But what about what takes place up by me, up on my farm? Mm-hmm. Agriculture Department bring a bulldozer up, MOU. Memorandum of Understanding. Fencing was up, I'm glad Jamie there,
One thing you're going to do is mix me.
May I mix you. I'm talking to you. Now I'm going to speak the truth. The truth shall set you free.
Yes, I was there.
Exactly. The very last time.
By his farm.
The very last time I was able to harvest anything off my farm was between September 2022 and October. They come up, they push down the fence, all kind of things. Oh, we have fence back up your land. When they're doing that, nursery and melon, nursery and melon with seasoning peppers, drip lines. It's over a mile in pipes, fencing, and then you got the police. Them it's like this matter here. And I talk to you twice, face to face, and I talk to you on the same radio station with EK, yeah. What happened? It's over $100,000 I invest in my farm, It's over 40 years me up here, What happened? This thing, this man, this thing you need face to face. We sit down and we start out this thing, straight up,
All right then, caller, I think.
Straight up,
Yeah, Mr. Tweed, I know that the Prime Minister is often in his constituency, so you may want to.
I do not often in my time.
Well, make the time because it's for you. Right?
Listen to me. I would like to have a private meeting with him.
Yes, so you can have a private meeting with him at that time, but to speak about it on the radio right now is not really going to help.
No. If you understand what I'm speaking of, this thing need to be sorted out.
Yeah, I understand. This
thing is going on for too long.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much, caller, and I do not take your concern for granted at all. He did speak to me about it. I reached out to the Agriculture Department, and they, of course, is doing what the Agriculture Department is doing. And so I cannot represent their position on it here. But I think there needs to be further conversations, and I think there can be, and so that a solution can be reached. But at least the Agriculture Department can be given the opportunity to give its perspective on the particular matter. That is why I cannot comment on it, because I take his commentary very seriously. And when he spoke to me about it, I reached out to the Agriculture Department, who assured me that they were addressing the matter, the specifics of which the Agriculture Department would have. So I think any further discussion, of course, with the caller would have to include the Agriculture Department, and this would have reported to me that they would have been in discussion. It seemed like whatever they have discussed, that there might be a gap still, but the Agriculture Department would have been addressing it from their perspective, and so they would have to be heard from as well to reach a full view of what is really taking place.
Okay, let's take this call. Good afternoon, you're live.
Yes, can I ask a question?
Sure, you're live.
Okay, good afternoon to the Prime Minister. Good afternoon to the person who is handling the interview. Just would like to ask a question. In regards to the Haitians, is it true that you're saying that the Haitians that were here in 2024 that were staying in Nevis, that they were released by the government's good fortune?
He didn't hear you. Sorry.
I didn't hear. Yes, the Haitians who. Hello?
Yes, can you hear me, Prime Minister?
Yes, the Haitians who are where?
The Haitians that were here and held and detained, first in Nevis, then over in St. Kitts.
Okay. In what year?
In 2024, 25.
24, 25.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Ask the questions. I'll take a note of that.
I'm just trying to get an understanding. Is it?
Yeah, I will answer your question because you're asking very specific things that I would have to refresh my mind on as well.
Yes, no problem. Is it what you were saying earlier, that they were released and then allowed to leave the island based on the government's generosity?
No, that is not what I'm saying. So I'm taking your questions because I can answer them. Yeah, go ahead, ask your questions.
All right, so that's one. Two, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, just gave a speech at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. And it's a very telling speech. I think everybody should listen to it. It's a historic speech. I just wanted to know the government's position in regards to the present state of affairs and the reach and the stretch of the long arm of the United States. How does this government will address the issue and how it in turn would benefit the people of St. Kitts and Nevis?
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, caller.
This is a very sober question.
Our final caller for this afternoon, because we do recognize that the Prime Minister needs time to address those questions.
Yes, these are very big questions that have been asked. With respect to the Haiti matter, I've addressed it. We recognize that there are those who are victims and those who are traffickers. And so our decisions is also based on national security, because you cannot become a transshipment point. And when you have human trafficking and so forth, that can hurt your country's standing, one, and it can bring other issues with it that are, that we need to be mindful of. And so once we do that assessment, we took the decision early that children and pregnant women that we will not deport at all. But those who are involved in the business of human trafficking and so forth, we would do that. So yes, we have accepted a number of them into our community, and not only that, but we supported them as well and make sure that they could have adjusted. So I still feel very proud of how we have approached the Haitian situation, and based on our capacity, Haiti benefited significantly from our generosity. So I'm happy to that. With respect to the United States, geopolitics in general, we have taken an approach to dialogue and to use our diplomatic channels. And at this time, I want to thank our diplomats who are working. We are working a lot behind the scenes. We are working to protect St. Kitts and Nevis as far and as much as possible. We understand in geopolitics and where the world is heading, that the stronger ones might want to assert a bit more. However, we continue to work arduously to protect St. Kitts and Nevis and to benefit our country. Even during this time, we have seen an increase in investments, even from the United States. We have seen an increase in investments. We have seen more people visiting from the United States of America. I mean, the other areas are increasing significantly, like Great Britain and Canada. The numbers are increasing significantly. We had record numbers visiting St. Kitts and Nevis by year last year. And we continue to see those numbers grow, and we continue to remain open. So good relations are important to ensure that your economy continues to grow. We will also work in the ambit of regional organizations such as CARICOM, for what I spoke about, collective sovereignty. We'll continue to work in the ambit of the United Nations and other organizations that we are part of, because we recognize that together we have a better opportunity to get the best for the world and the best for St. Kitts and Nevis. So our approach is of course, working through our international organizations, the multilateral system, which we strongly believe in, dialogue and diplomacy, and continue to work those for the best outcome. We don't have a big army. Our economy is extremely small compared to what the world has, and so we know we have limitations. But even within those limitations, we will not lose hope. There are those of us in the world who know we have to work together for the betterment of each. So multilateralism, diplomacy, diplomatic channels, reaching out. That is why I said we have to diversify. Africa, Asia, South America, Central America. I went to Central America, Southern America recently. Middle East, Western Africa, Eastern Africa. Seeking to see where we can develop relationships that can benefit St. Kitts and Nevis. So we are not in any way just sitting by and watching things happen. We are fighting like hell, and we'll continue to fight. But I think the reasonable Kittitian, the reasonable Nevisian, who looks at what we are dealing with, would understand that these are not easy times. These are challenging times. It's a time when the closer we work together as a nation, the closer we work together as a people, the better it will be for us. This time, like no other time in recent history, demands that we work as closely together as a nation. Because if we don't, the cracks can be exploited. And at the end of the day, we will all be exploited. Let me give you an example. Let's look at, for example, slavery in Western Africa or anywhere. You go there, the Africans used to trade among themselves. And so you had Europeans who went there, wanted to join the African trade. No chattel slavery existed in Africa. There was slavery all around the world, but there was no chattel slavery. Chattel slavery means your descendants are slave as well. You stay slave until you die, and your descendants are slave, and you can't be anything more than a slave. However, you had the Europeans who went down, and they joined into the African trade. Some kingdoms might say, okay, they can participate, not recognizing the extent of what the trade was. Some of them thought it was just trade as normal. But in thinking that they could have done some business here and not recognizing that we're even putting their own self in danger, they then recognized that while they were thinking one way, the invaders had another thought. We must learn from that history, right? And as we are stronger when we are together. Let us agree to certain principles. For example, when the issue of the SSZ and so came up, people talk about sovereignty and an independent country. That is one way. And of course, I've taken, well, the law was passed to make sure that that is never questioned. But this time is asking for that as well, that we can agree on some basic principles, understand what we are facing as a country, and fight like hell together to protect all of us. If we don't take that approach, all of us will be at risk. And so I will continue to work and make the tough decisions, but always to protect our people and to give our people the best opportunity. Sometimes it's easy for people to say, but I'm asking our people to sit back and analyze and look at the grand scheme of things and see in these challenging times where is it we really want to go. So I want to encourage our people really to continue to work together and to continue to strengthen St. Kitts and Nevis. So those are the questions I wanted to answer for that caller. He asks about the Haitian matter, and then he asks about the geopolitics.
Okay, so you've covered all the questions from the callers this afternoon. So we only have a few minutes left because I know that you have to leave. Yeah. So at this point in time, I'll invite you to give your closing remarks.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I came on time.
Yes. You came before time.
I came before time.
Yes, you were here early.
So I've been here very early.
Yes.
Jamie, one of the things I want to touch on as I wrap up, I have been through all the matters that I brought forward here, but it's the matter of where we are going as a people in this year as a diversification. And just to update our people very quickly on our projects. I visited the desalination plant, and I'm very, very impressed with what I see there. I mean, we are going to, the handing over will take place very soon, in a few weeks. And when you go there and you see it, just looking at it as an engineering feat alone, that in itself will give you goosebumps. You say, this is really operating in St. Kitts and Nevis. And it is producing up to 2 million gallons of potable water daily. That means we will be able to supply 60 to 70% of the population of St. Kitts and Nevis with 24/7 water. That does not mean your water may not go a few times because you still have to fix pipes sometimes. Things happen. This is life. But in general, we can do that. And we have started the process of drilling wells around the country. We are starting in the Saddlers area. That's a company from Trinidad, a CARICOM company. We support our brothers and sisters in Trinidad, and so they will be drilling over in Saddlers. And they have a mandate to go from Saddlers, I think, is then St. Paul's and Sandy Point, but to move around the country so we want 3 sources of water, as many as we can have. Desalination, surface runoff, well, and harvesting, water harvesting. I will announce it here. Construction on a factory to make water tanks and gutters from PVC will start construction very, very soon, if it has not started. I did not announce it before because I wanted to make sure. That factory will be built in the Keon area to provide jobs, at least initially 25 permanent good jobs. And they will produce the water tanks so we don't have to order them from overseas. Why did we push such a company? So that you can have a local company to do that, so that everybody can have access to a water tank and the gutters. So we can all be in the business of harvesting water. So we can have desalination, surface runoff, well, and harvesting. 4 sources. Because a country cannot flourish without water. Water has to be accessible. Water is the most basic, I think, for any civilization to develop. Water is more basic than land itself. Because if you have land with no water, the land doesn't serve. Nobody's going to settle there. You want land with water, access to water, right? And therefore, we lift in the standard of living of our people, the condition of living, the health of our people. Having access to potable water 24/7 is one of the ways in which you can strengthen your country. And so we are attacking it. So I already mentioned 3, but the 4th one, the building of the factory, I just mentioned it for the first time today. So we are going to take care of that. With respect to the MRI building, I went there as well. I am very pleased. It's a specialized building. Maybe I should take the press there one time to take some pictures and report on it. It is a specialized building. The building has to have the right magnetic field. Down to that. They have to check the magnetism around the building because the MRI is like a big magnet spinning in a field that produces the images. So you have to make sure. It has to be in a particular location that you can't have certain things. Then the building structure itself has to be specialized. It is the first type that is being built in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so our own contractors here had to learn as they go. And we had the company send in their technicians and the experts to guide our contractors as to how to construct the building. I went there and the building is over 90% complete. So now we are going to say to the company to start to get the MRI. The MRI is coming from Europe, from the Netherlands. It will be the most up-to-date at this time.
Do we have a time frame as to how long it will take
it's there. I would think, the shipping I can't say, but I can say the aim is at the end of the first quarter this year to have the MRI installed. Because what they were waiting for is for the housing, and the housing has to be specific. Otherwise, you bring an MRI, if you don't have the proper housing, it will destroy. It will be destroyed. And what we didn't want is a containerized MRI. A containerized MRI is excellent, but has its limitations. We wanted a big, open MRI that can serve all of our people and at the hospital so that people can get the care immediately that they would need, and so it will be versatile. I know it is a very specialized piece, but once we get the first one in, that knowledge and institutional knowledge and understanding that is now part and parcel of who we are, we will accelerate any others going forward. But I'm very proud of what has been done, all of the specifications, and I want to thank the contractor, Public Works, and so forth, who have been working to get that done. So I'm very happy for that, Jamie. So that is going extremely, extremely well. The hospital is going extremely well as well. We have to take care of some back roads so people can have access, move some water lines, all this in the real preparation. So that is going extremely well as we speak. The Basti High School, a lot of the underground stuff and so have to come from overseas, and those are being presently constructed. So they're going to come in and be done. Housing, houses are being built. I asked NHC to pick up the pace. NHC, look, we're still, sometimes they can't find contractors. They say people want to register to become contractors, do a job fair. I want to encourage NHC to do a job fair. Tell the contractors who are not working, come into NHC, because we want to pick up the pace for construction. Right now we are building in St. Peter's, we are building in Gillards, we are building in Otleys, we are building in Race Course, we are building in Newton Ground. We are now going to start in Sandy Point. We are built in Newtown, right? So all constituencies will be touched and be touched multiple times.
Constituency too as well?
Yeah,
okay.
Those are Gillards.
That's not constituency too.
Yeah, but you all don't have land. Yeah. So what we did with the minister, the piece there that belonged, and she's the minister there, so we carved out a piece.
Okay.
So right now there are houses being built.
It's not that far from you.
It's not far. No. It's right there.
Yeah.
But they're being built right now for constituency number 2.
Okay.
And we're going to move to do some more. You see the high rise that is being done, that are being done?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are to get rid of those type of housing and build urban housing of good quality that people can be proud of. So that is part of our transformation of Basti as well. Okay. So we need contractors. Go to NHC if you're a contractor. We need, because we have houses to build, and NHC needs to keep up, and sometimes they say they can't find enough contractors and so forth. And we know we're going to have a little bit of a problem, because when the hospital going to full swing, they're going to require a few hundred people. And that's a lot of workers. And then when the school going to full swing, they're going to require a lot of people. Right now at Fort Thomas, we're getting ready to hire another 50, 60 people there.
Locals?
Yeah, locals.
Okay.
Yeah, you have some specialists from overseas, but the majority, as we sign, they must be from St. Kitts Nevis.
Okay.
And so that I had a meeting this morning with respect to that as well. And, so we want our people to take advantage of these. Nature's Farm has been launched. There have been some over in Cairn, which is 100+ acres, and that has been launched, and that will provide a lot of agricultural jobs for our people as well. So we want to hit the economy from multiple perspectives, because as we know, because of the CBI matter, our economy got hit because of the CBI matter, but we have to diversify and move out. And just to tell you that we are very close to finalizing for geothermal in Nevis, very, very close, very, very close. We have come a long way. And we're also going to do a solar plant here in St. Kitts and Nevis. We have done all the assessment. Before we heard of the talk, but what we took over, no real assessment was done. So we brought in a company called Castalia to do a full assessment, and it has been completed. And so the RFP is going to go out within a couple of weeks. So from energy perspective, water perspective, and technology, I don't know, I would say today, that we are full on our way. We are on our way to have a national ID, EID, which will help the ease of doing business, such as being able to apply for a passport online and so forth.
Yes.
So those things are really accelerating. So we are seeing our policies really starting to take root, and all of this in the ambit of the geopolitical situation, which we continue to work as well to create the best scenario here for our people in St. Kitts and Nevis. So I will say, Jamie, on those matters, we have really done a tremendous amount of work. And we continue to look for opportunities. There are other opportunities I am not speaking of yet until they really come close to materialize. I know on the southeast, we were dealing with that matter, and we continue to deal with it even from a legal perspective. It's a challenge there, but we have to respect the law and do what is necessary to make sure that we get the best outcome with respect to that. So when you look at where we are heading, I can say that I know that despite the challenges, we are heading definitely in the right direction. And so I want to encourage our people to participate in what we are seeking to do in making sure that St. Kitts get a strong, diversified economy that serves our people. So, Jamie, I want to thank you and all of our callers and those who participated. Let me say, today, I found that the callers were very well informed. Their questions were very pointed. They were substantive. Even the caller who called in about his farm, you know, I know him very well, and he presented himself, and I could hear him clearly saying he still wants a further resolution, so I take him seriously. Yes. The caller who called and talk about Haiti, who talk about the geopolitics and so forth. So I really want to thank the callers for calling in and making their voices heard and putting their questions forward. But I would lastly say that we love our brothers and sisters from Haiti and would use all that we have to help, and we have been doing such, even within the challenging circumstances. Thank you, Jamie.
Prime Minister, I want to thank you as well for continuing to make yourself available to our audience here at Freedom FM. I know people look forward. People always ask, well, when is the Prime Minister coming the next time? So thank you so much for choosing to come to Freedom FM. This is how we are going to end issues for this afternoon. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. Be sure to tune in tomorrow.
Yes. Thank you very much, Jamie.
And Chantoff is here, January 25th, starting at 1:30 p.m.
Watch the fastest legs and loudest voices from high schools across St. Kitts and Nevis